Joining us now from Capitol Hill is Congressman Steny Hoyer, Democrat of Maryland and the House Minority Whip. Good afternoon, sir.
Good to be with you.
You hold a senior position within the Democratic caucus. Is it your view that the White House is now drowning in a sea of scandal, as your political opponents are suggesting?
No, absolutely not. Certainly not a sea of scandal. While I think the president was correct as it relates to the IRS, it's outrageous, the allegations of what was done, and if that practice was followed. I know it's been said to have been stopped, but I share the president's concern and the concerns of all Americans that the IRS would target anybody because of political affiliation or name of an organization. They need to deal with facts, and they need to deal with those facts fairly and across the board and treat all taxpayers and applicants the same.
And so you're satisfied, sir, that the president or his administration played no role in encouraging the IRS to target these specific conservative organizations?
I have absolutely no reason to believe, nor have I seen any reports that the administration was involved in this, that it was a determination within the IRS as to how to try to deal with a flood of applications for tax exemption. I think they acted improperly in this instance, but I don't think the administration had anything to do with this. I have no reason to believe that that was the case.
Well, the president is trying to get on with governing. He's meeting this hour with Secretary Hagel, as you know, facing a full plate of concerns, including plans today to furlough some 630,000 civilian defence workers, make them take unpaid days off through the rest of the year. And that, of course, is thanks to the sequester. And yet, sir, I cannot hear a single person on the other side of the aisle today expressing any concern with that.
Yeah, that's the real scandal, that what we're doing is diverting our attention. Obviously, I think these matters have to be dealt with, but we're diverting our attention from the total failure of the Republicans in the House of Representatives to deal with substance in this Congress and, very frankly, in the last Congress. The sequestration is a irrational, stupid policy that's having an adverse effect on our economy and on our national security. I think the layoffs, the furloughs that you refer to, are not only bad for the individuals involved, but much more broadly than that, bad from the standpoint of our national security. We tried on a number of occasions, on 4 specific occasions, to offer amendments which would get to the same savings, the same debt reduction over the next year, but do so in a way that would not require a sequester, would not require irrational cuts to high priority and low priority in the same percentage. Unfortunately, the Republican leadership in the House of Representatives would not allow us to offer those amendments, would not allow them to be considered by the representatives of the American people. As a result, we're confronted with, as I said, this irrational process, which is bad for our economy and bad for our national security. In addition, it puts at risk 70,000 children being kicked off Head Start.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
4 million seniors.
4 million seniors won't get their food.
Losing Meals on Wheels.
Absolutely. So while Republicans decry inadequate security in Benghazi, while 1/3 of House committees investigate the White House, they're absolutely silent on hits to military personnel that Lockheed Martin says will delay their F-35 Joint Strike Fighter and other weapons programs, to say nothing of the social programs that you just referred to. Absolute silence. Absolute silence.
The reason for that, in my opinion, is the positions that they take on those issues are not positions the American public supports. And therefore, they try to distract the attention by these tangential, important perhaps, but tangential issues that they keep raising. We have had nothing about job creation over the last 5 months that we've been in Congress, and nothing about how we're going to go from the sequester, which everybody, including every Republican leader, believes is an irrational process. But unfortunately, a large number of their caucus want to slash government funding, no matter what the impact of slashing that funding is. So that it's very, very unfortunate that we are spending so much time in trying to undermine the President of the United States. It's a continuation of the first 4 years of this administration, where it was all opposition, confrontation, and undermining of the president's ability to build the economy and make America a better place. It's really sad, and then the American public ought to be outraged about that.
Do you think, sir, that we should just write off the 2 terms of this president then? That we should simply accept that that the House itself is absolutely delighted through individuals like Darrell Issa to pursue endless hearings on things like Benghazi, significant, 4 people killed, including an ambassador. Nobody is underestimating the importance or validity of inquiries into that matter. But are we saying that the next 3.5 years are largely going to be pointless from the point of view of governing?
Hopefully we're not saying that, number one. Number two, it won't be the president that loses. It'll be our country that loses. It'll be our kids that don't get the kind of education they needed. It'll be the seniors who aren't taken care of the way we want them taken care of. It'll be the veterans who don't get the attention that they need. That's who's going to lose when you create this confrontation and a refusal to compromise. We had an election. That election was pretty dispositive of the issue that the American people wanted President Obama to continue as president, and the policies that he was supporting were clearly enunciated. Mr. Romney enunciated an alternative strategy and policy, and the American people voted. And frankly, it's time to put politics behind us, partisanship behind us, confrontation behind us, and come together as a Congress, Republicans and Democrats, and reach compromises that will move us forward. Nobody will think they're perfect, but that's our responsibility.
But, sir, what's extraordinary from our point of view is Mitt Romney fought over the issue of Benghazi, and that continues to dominate. Mitt Romney fought over never raising taxes, and that continues. You say the election was fought in November. It feels as though the election is carrying on, that fight, regardless of the issue, it's almost as if every single subject continues now.
It feels like that because that's what's happening. It's as if the election didn't occur. It's continued partisan politics and continued politics of destruction, if you will. And what I think my Republican friends don't realize is the people who are being hurt is not the administration. It is the American people that we just discussed. Very unfortunate. But you say 3.5 years. Very frankly, we're going to have another election in just about 18 months. And the American people will have another opportunity to say, no, we don't want this confrontation. We don't want this gridlock. We don't want constant opposition. We want positive cooperation for our country. And I frankly think that if the Republicans continue along the path that they've been pursuing for the last 5 months, hopefully the American people will tell them a year from this November, that's not what we wanted. That's not what we think is good for our country. And very frankly, we're going to put new people in charge of the House of Representatives.
Congressman Steny Hoyer, sir, thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you, Martin, very much.
Thank you, sir.